Okay, good afternoon. Hello. Perfect. My name is Lidia de Reese from FSM in Germany, and I want to talk about how we try, or I hopefully think we do, bring artificial intelligence and machine learning into the classroom. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm working for FSM, which is an NGO in Germany, based in Berlin. We are an NGO working in the field of youth media protection and online safety. And in this regards, we fight illegal and harmful online content for children and young people. For example, we have a hotline anyone can report illegal online content to, and we ensure and improve protection of minors in online and digital media with our member companies. And we do a lot of media educational work for young people, teachers and parents. And today I want to focus on our project Medien in die Schule. This is German for Media Goes to School. And this is a project we have been doing since 2013. And I want to go into detail a little bit more. The project Medien in die Schule, Media Goes to School, focuses on teachers and educators in the secondary school context, and we want to empower teachers basically to bring digital media into the classroom, to teach media literacy with their pupils, to talk about risks and opportunities, to get practical, to show them how they can actively participate and also kind of shape our societal discourse on how digital media should look like in the future as well. We have been doing this since 2013, and the whole project is funded by the Google Future Lab. And we have since then been publishing 8 teaching materials and 4 tool collections, which are all in German, unfortunately, but they are open educational resources published under a Creative Commons license. So basically anyone could go on our platform and work with our material, translate it, shape it, use it. So this is a recommendation and also invitation to look this up. 8 materials and 4 tool collections is a lot. I just wanted to give you a little bit of overview on what we have been covering so far. We have been publishing about youth media protection, fake news and disinformation, smartphone usage and privacy issues, for example, and many more. And again, I want to highlight that it's all about inspiring young people to actually participate and use online media productively themselves, but also to directly address critical issues so that they are part of the conversation we are having today at this conference, for example, but also with media companies, with policymakers and so on, to give them a voice and participate in these discussions and have their own point of view and also their view on the future. Here you can see our platform where you can download all the teaching materials and tool collections. You will find a lot of lesson plans and worksheets, but also on the website you will find a lot of interactive material and additional resources. And also I really want to stress that for each teaching material we always pick expert partners in the field we are working at to come in and work on the school material together with us. And on our platform you can get to know all of them and also get in contact with them. I wanted to show you the tool collection a little bit more, because the tool collections, the 4 we have been publishing, they are not lesson plans, kind of fixed curriculum, but they are more a collection of practical tools. If you want to do coding and making, if you want to search for free software, for example, you can look this up. And on the website you have a filter search where you can just tag or it will show you all the tools we have already presented on the platform. And also, which is always very well used, is our best practice examples. So we have hands-on practical reports by teachers who have already worked with our materials in the classroom, and they have little practical reports you can use and look into how they actually brought this into the school and worked with their pupils on it. So now I'm going to dive into the new teaching material about machine learning. It's basically all about artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms, and applications we already use in our everyday life. We want to give a basic understanding and also make young people aware of how these applications influence themselves and our society as a whole. All materials, that's really important, and especially for this one, because the topic of machine learning might seem a little scary and complicated, but this is a material any teacher and educator can use without any previous knowledge. So you can start off from the beginning, and it's very easy to get into, and it's also not fixed for a specific subject in school. Any teacher can use it. We want to give young people a basic understanding of how these technologies work, how they are already influencing them in their everyday life, and also what kind of ethical discourse we should be having, and they should be having as well with us, on how we want to have these technologies in our lives in the future, because these technologies are evolving so fast. It's really important that we have young people speaking their minds in these subjects as well. To sum up the materials, you see a couple of big numbers up here. We have 16 lesson plans in the material, a lot of glossary definitions, because this is a subject where you come across algorithm, deep learning, what does intelligence even mean? So we have a lot of definitions in there. It's the biggest material we have published, with more than 150 pages, but it has a lot of practical worksheets teachers can take out of the material and directly use in the classroom. And we have material sheets. They are used by teachers to prepare themselves to know how they lead through the course and how they can prepare the lesson. This is how it looks like, the printed version. You see a couple of our worksheets and material sheets here. I will go into detail a little bit more. Our first module starts off really basic about what is innovation and what does this have to do with machine learning. So we start off with the question, where does innovation come from? Why are people motivated to invent things, and what motivated famous inventors in history and also today to come up with their innovations. And then we go into the topic starting from there of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and algorithms. So this is some examples of our worksheets from the first module here. The second module is about learning. How does machine learning work? And we already start with asking the question, how do we as human beings learn, and how do machines learn? What's the difference? How does it work? Then pupils get to try out machine learning applications themselves, and they get to discuss about intelligent robots. What does this robots make intelligent? What kind of rules should there be to make this ethical, and that we as a society feel safe and really good about those robots being this intelligent. And I actually want to play a little game with you. It's one of the methods we use in the material, so I invite you to play this game with me. It's really easy. It's all about what do we see and what does the computer sees. And I will just give you some descriptions, and you should think of it in your mind and form a picture in your mind and just guess what we are seeing. So, on the left side, the picture is only light blue, and on the right side, the picture is only light blue. So I hope you can picture this in your minds now. In the middle of the image, there's a black rectangle. And if anyone has the solution yet, you just shout it at me, maybe. and the black rectangle is higher than wide. And I think there's a last clue. In the upper part of the black rectangle, there's a circle. Sorry, I was too quick. The guess was the circle is red. Did anyone think of a traffic light? Yes? What did you think? So I showed that already. It's a traffic light. So you see, on the left side, that's what we see. And on the right side, that's what the computer sees, like a basic version of the picture, just as I described it to you now. We do a second round. The image is black at the top left and the top right. And the image is black at the bottom. In the middle is a red circle with small white stripes. And in the middle is a yellow-red circle with stripes. Any guess? It's a traffic light, just a different one. So you see, it's really hard. It's the same thing. We, as human beings, we look at the picture, immediately we know it's a traffic light, but the computer has a totally different description for the same thing. Last round. The upper left corner and the upper right corner are black. The lower left corner and the lower right corner are black. In the middle of the picture are three almost round colored areas. The top color area is mainly red. The middle color area is yellow-red. And the lowest color area is green-yellow. Who wants to guess what this is? Okay, there's one more. The colored areas have white stripes and light and dark dots. Okay, no one wants to shout it out loud? I'll show you. It's 3 apples, but it's shaped as a traffic light. So you see, this is really fun to play with young people as well. They always tell me I'm cheating with this when it's apples in the end. But you see how a machine, how a computer needs thousands of pictures to determine if this is a traffic light, if this is daylight or night. Then there's thousands of different traffic lights all over the world. So a computer and a machine has to learn all of this, where we as human beings can distinguish this right from the beginning. The third module of the material is about machine learning in our everyday life. All of us are using them. Any music streaming platforms, Spotify, or what about Netflix and Amazon Prime, or any search engine, and there's so many more based on machine learning technology. So we talk about, with pupils, what their own experiences are with these kinds of services, and what they actually wish for them to do. And we want to discuss, is this actually valuable, or is this also a kind of a questionable undertaking? Because if Spotify always tells me what music I should be listening to, how many other artists am I missing out? And what happens if technology is biased or discriminating, for example? So these are questions we are talking about there. And I also brought a small game of this material module with me, the yes and no game. We usually use little cards, but you can just hold up your hand with this game. Should a voice assistant answer your phone call and talk to the person calling when you are busy at the moment? Who says yes? Anyone? That's so practical, isn't it? No? Okay. Children and young people are really torn with this question as well, because they don't want the machine telling whoever is calling something which is a secret, or where they actually are at the moment. They're really protected about this information. But they do see it can be really practical if they are in school and someone is calling, grandma's calling, then she could talk to the machine first, and then they can talk afterwards again. So this is interesting. Next one. Should there be face recognition in the supermarket in order to receive personalized vouchers on your smartphone? can save a lot of money with this, can't we? Who says yes? A lot of young people say yes to this. It's cheaper to do it this way, and they don't overthink this question too much. That's my personal experience when we tried this out with a lot of pupils this summer. The fourth and last module of the material is a role play. So we have 4 colored heads. One is the moderator, and the other 3 ones are optimists, skeptics, or pessimists. So pupils are divided into groups under those colored heads and have to discuss and stay in their role. And either we're really optimistic about these technologies and how they want to get them moving forward, or they're really pessimist about it, or they are kind of skeptical and pick from each side. So they get to have a really in-depth discussion and also get to be formulating their own recommendations for machine learning technology in the future. So what do they think should be fixed rules, what should change, what should stay, what should be better, what should be improved. And I wanted, for the final minute, just show you a couple of pictures how we work with this. Since we have been publishing this in May of this year. So we have worked in Berlin schools, for example, with young people. And we have also done totally non-digital formats like school fairs, for example, where we did on the top right corner, for example, the girls. We did the yes and no game, and we gave them colored little balls, and they should choose the side. This was really interesting to get into discussions with even younger pupils than we were actually targeting the material to. So we even discussed a lot with primary school children already, if there should be face recognition, if they want to have a machine learning assistant answering their phone and so on. So this is something these discussions can start really early on. And this is a school in Berlin who tested our material in a really long workshop, and they had a lot of fun discussing and trying out the applications. So I just wanted to show, even though this topic seems a little bit overwhelming and very technological, this is a lot of fun and very relevant and really close to young people's everyday lives and what they like and what they want to discuss about. So I just want to hopefully inspire you and recommend to address these issues with your pupils as well. Thank you. Dziękuję.
Dziękujemy bardzo.